Imagine a world aflame with fervor. Across Europe, under the banner of the cross, armies surged toward a faraway land, Jerusalem. For centuries, these were the Crusades. Holy wars born from zealotry, ambition, and a clash of civilizations. But in the tapestry of history, these epic campaigns became a tale of ultimate failure. The question burns bright: why did the Great Crusades fail? The Crusades were not a single conflict, but a saga spanning from the late 11th to the 13th centuries, a time when the very soul of the Holy Land was at stake, and two worlds collided in a storm of blood and belief. The First Crusade, launched in 1095 by Pope Urban II, burst forth with unexpected success. Thousands heeded the call, a motley mix of seasoned knights and ill-prepared zealots. Against the odds, they captured Jerusalem in a storm of blood in 1099, carving out fragile Crusader states in the heart of the Levant. But this was no final victory. Muslim forces, led by figures like the brilliant Saladin, rallied and struck back. Jerusalem itself fell in 1187, a blow that echoed through Christendom. Kings took up the cross: Richard the Lionheart of England, Philip II of France, Frederick Barbarossa of the Holy Roman Empire. Yet their Third Crusade ultimately failed to restore Jerusalem. The Crusades descended into a complex struggle. Ambition supplanted piety. The Fourth Crusade shockingly saw the sack of Constantinople, a fellow Christian city. Children marched in the doomed Children's Crusade. Egypt became a new focus, as Crusaders realized Jerusalem was vulnerable without controlling its resources. Yet the tide turned. The rise of powerful Mamluk sultans in Egypt proved insurmountable. One by one, the Crusader strongholds crumbled. By 1291, Acre, their last bastion, fell. The dream of a Christian East lay in ruins, but the consequences reached far beyond territory. Trade routes opened, ideas mingled, the world subtly shifted. And while the Crusades were born from religious fervor, they ultimately exposed the futility of such wars built on zealotry alone. The battlefields lay silent, but the question burns bright. Why did this grand enterprise, fueled by such unwavering faith and valor, ultimately collapse? The answer lies in a complex web of causes, each thread contributing to the unraveling. Christendom may have preached unity under the cross, but constant internal squabbles undermined their potential. Rival European monarchs clashed over leadership and spoils, like the feud between Richard the Lionheart and Philip II of France during the Third Crusade, 1189 to 1192. The Crusader states themselves fractured, with figures like the ambitious Reynald of Chatillon deliberately provoking Saladin, leading to the disastrous defeat at the Battle of Hattin, 1187. The immense distances and hostile environments posed incredible challenges. The German contingent of the Third Crusade was nearly wiped out crossing Anatolia. During the Fifth Crusade, 1217-1221, Crusaders suffered humiliating defeat in Egypt due to poor planning, flooding of the Nile, and disease. The Seventh Crusade, 1248-1254, while initially promising, became another debacle when Louis IX of France was captured and his army decimated. As the Crusades dragged on, the initial zeal waned. Popes became entangled in European power struggles, like the conflict between the papacy and the Holy Roman Empire in the 13th century, diverting resources and attention away from the Holy Land. Monarchs found wars closer to home more pressing, with resources diverted to conflicts like the 100 Years' War between England and France. The Crusaders' Muslim adversaries were far from static. Under leaders like Saladin, fragmented territories were unified against the invaders. The Battle of Hattin, 1187, showcased Saladin's tactical brilliance and marked a strategic turning point. Later, the powerful Mamluk Sultanate in Egypt emerged, a formidable force with superior military organization and unwavering determination to expel the Crusaders. The Crusades were a constant drain on European finances for 2 centuries. Taxation schemes to fund the expeditions sparked unrest, like the peasant revolts in Flanders in the early 14th century. This economic burden weakened states and made sustaining a faraway war increasingly impossible. The moral high ground of the Crusaders slowly crumbled. Brutal massacres during the taking of Jerusalem in 1099 set a grim precedent. The Fourth Crusade, 1202-1204, horrifically saw Crusaders sack their fellow Christian city of Constantinople, exposing the greed and hypocrisy that tainted the holy cause. This disillusioned many, and the final loss of Acre in 1291 seemed to confirm that the Crusades had lost divine favor. The Crusader flame, once so bright, slowly guttered out. It was not one grand defeat, but a relentless erosion of resources, of unity, and of the very spirit that had ignited the movement. The ambition of the Crusades ultimately collided with harsh realities, revealing the limitations of faith as a weapon when faced with logistical nightmares, cunning adversaries, and the inexorable tide of history. The battlefields lay silent, the echoes of swords fading into the desert winds. The failure of the Crusades casts a long shadow, a stark reminder of ambition's limits and the futility of wars waged in the name of faith alone. Yet the Crusades were not merely a forgotten chapter. The conflict left an undeniable mark on Europe and the Middle East. The interaction between cultures spurred trade, the exchange of ideas, and the bittersweet legacy remains a source of fascination and often painful scrutiny even today. So, when we ask why the Crusades failed, the answer echoes through the ages. Do you believe these centuries of fervent struggle ultimately justify the cost in blood and treasure? Did the Crusaders, driven by a mix of piety and ambition, truly represent the divine will they so firmly believed in? Or were they, like their Muslim adversaries, ultimately bound by the all-too-human limitations of strategy, strength, and spirit? Let me know your thoughts, and if you found this exploration of history compelling, like, share, and subscribe for more journeys through the turning points of the past.